Hello world! Welcome to my astrology channel. It's Julian Venables here, your London astrologer. And today, in this new video, all the videos are new, aren't they really? But in today, I'm going to be talking to you about how to best use the upcoming really good aspects that are happening this Saturday. So 3 days time. This Saturday, the 14th of March, we have got two really interesting aspects that you can really make a lot of use of, particularly if you know about them ahead of time and are ready for them. So I'm going to talk to you today about, I've written them on a board actually. So I'm going to talk to you about Mars, currently in Capricorn, making a sextile to Neptune at 10:30 a.m. on Saturday the 14th. Later on the same day, the Sun in Pisces, making a good aspect to Pluto in Capricorn at 16:45, and this is GMT time, so there's London time, and 16:45 in the afternoon. Okay. So what we're having here is two zodiac signs are involved in this. We've got Capricorn and Pisces. So, and the planets are the quicker moving planets. In one sign, it's Mars in Capricorn moving quickly towards Neptune in Pisces. And then the other way around, it's the Sun in Pisces moving quickly towards to Pluto in Capricorn. So it's Pisces in Capricorn is the link. So Capricorn is an Earth sign. It's the idea of doing things in a very organized way, very ambitious. Capricorn likes to integrate things, with awareness. It likes to be common sense. It likes to have structure. So these are very Capricornian things. Pisces, on the other hand, very mystical, very dreamy, very out there. What is it out there? It's all mystical and it's all at oneness. So when you've got Mars working well with Neptune in Pisces, and when you've got the Sun in Pisces working well with Pluto in Capricorn, if we think about the news at the moment, let's look at that, right, before we get into our own charts or into your own personal experience. Because you see, at the moment, in the UK, we've got this coronavirus crisis building up all the time. So on Saturday, what can we expect to get, if you to use the keywords, if you like, of what might be happening, okay? So Mars in Capricorn, okay, might be, right, an official, right, who's acting under orders, right? So it could be an authoritarian figure, right, who's acting quite strong, right? Mars, Capricorn, the authority, okay? Putting into place boundaries, again, Capricorn. There's so many planets in Capricorn at the moment, so everything's really changed around our boundaries, okay? What the limits of things are. So Mars is the authority figure, the soldier, the something like that, Mars in Capricorn, maybe police or something, There's something about using the authority figure to enact a rule, an order, some kind of, in fact, actually, I don't like to say this really because it's so rare, but Mars is martial, Capricorn is law. Yeah? And that is far too extreme, right, for a situation like this at the moment. But the fact that Mars is making a good aspect to Neptune in Pisces, it may be talked about and thinking about, what are we going to do with our situation? Neptune is this diffusion, the all at one, the dissolution of things, the vagueness, that whole at space, everything around you. Can't see these virusy things. Can't see germs, can't see bacteria, whatever it is. We can't see it. We don't know where it is. It's Neptune in Pisces. It's invisible, but it's there. It's there. It's a mystical force, if you like. There's something that's very strange. Neptune in Pisces. Mars makes a good aspect to it. We've got to take control of this. That's Mars in Capricorn. We've got to dominate this. Mars in Capricorn. We've got to make sure that we are the ones leading the way. Mars in Capricorn. We've got to be at the front of the game, Mars in Capricorn, right? So Mars making good aspect to Neptune in Pisces is like, how are we going to conquest Mars in Capricorn? This mysterious thing, Neptune in Pisces. So the aspect involved here is a 60-degree aspect. It's called the sextile. This is the use of talent, right? It's the use of, it's sometimes you see with the sextile, you don't have to do much. People aren't encouraged to do that much with it. It's a good aspect, but if you know it's there, and this is the key to the experiment that I'd like to try with you today, is if you know it's there, you can do quite a bit with it. So you have to kind of motivate yourself to use it, right? So basically, what we're looking at here is this, there's an openness to develop something, an openness to develop an interaction between the two planets. So I would say it's a good time for something like the government to say, right, we're going to really make this serious. We're going to get serious with our action. That's Mars in Capricorn. Capricorn's serious, Mars is action. We're going to get serious with our action about making sure that this mysterious dissolved thing, whatever it is, in the space around us, that's so Neptune in Pisces, is we're going to make sure we put things under control, okay? So that, I think, is probably one of the keys to this Saturday's aspect. So that's Mars going to Neptune, and that will be Saturday morning, the peak, but you'll start noticing it Friday, maybe even before, okay? As the planets start to move together to make their link to each other, then you're going to see that sort of manifestation starting to occur. Now, at the same time, the Sun is in Pisces, which means we're all very aware, Pisces season, of this strange spacey thing. It's coming through to us like an emotional feeling, yeah? Not quite sure what's out there, but it could be threatening, it could be weird, it could take us over, we could end up floating in this. What is it floating in the air around us? Neptune in Pisces. The oceanic feeling. What are we in? What's this kind of thing? Is it this kind of slightly strange thing that's invading our space? Neptune in Pisces. And we're aware of that. You see, the Sun being in Pisces at the moment. But the Sun is also someone who is not only aware, but it's also a figurehead. So it's the person in the limelight. So it can often be seen as the boss, or the person who's meant to be standing on the soapbox, or not even a soapbox, standing on the stage, really, and talking to everybody about it, okay? So in a way, it could represent any number of people, right? But it could represent a very confident person, right? And someone who's meant to be very confident about something. But when the Sun's in Pisces, they might not be that confident because they don't really know themselves what's going on. So they just have this emotional awareness, Sun in Pisces. And the good aspect, this sextile aspect, goes back to Pluto in Capricorn. And Pluto in Capricorn is, of course, let's face it, right? Now, Pluto in Capricorn we have to talk about that. Pluto in Capricorn has been the ultimate corruption of government. That's really what we're looking at. We're digging up all the worst parts of government. That's why we've got a terrible set of politicians at the moment, and why the country's being run terribly. And let's face it, right? This is Pluto in Capricorn. And it's about amassing great things. Everyone's very, just thinking about themselves. They're not thinking about people as a whole. But what's happening is actually this corruption is also being exposed, okay? And eventually the karma will come back to get them. So, that's what Saturn-Pluto conjunction is as well. So there's a lot of karma behind all this. So what you're seeing now is people doing, terrible things, playing tricks on people, if you like, that's about dominating, controlling people. But at the same time, the karma will come back, okay? So Saturn-Pluto, the law will eventually come back to them all, okay? And they'll have their time when they realise that they've done it all wrong. It's a bit like, it's a bit like Harvey Weinstein, actually, someone who has a lot of power for a long time, suddenly they get their fall and now they're faced with the law. So, the same kind of thing on a different scale with governments, as it were, and people like that, okay? So, anyway, Sun in Pisces, making a good aspect to Pluto, means that the government could become more draconian. They could suddenly clamp down, right? Pluto can be very clamping. It's a very eliminating process. It might even be that, of course, the headlines just today or yesterday were that one of the cabinet has actually got coronavirus. I can't believe that, actually, but it's apparently true. So, that could give them a really good excuse, of course, to abandon Parliament. So you might get that on Saturday, actually. Oh my God, everyone's got it. All the people with power have suddenly got coronavirus. Oh, well, this is funny, isn't it? That means we can't do anything about Brexit. And we can't even talk about the budget next week. We can't do anything. We're going to close Parliament down, actually. Oh, that's interesting, which means, of course, as I mentioned earlier, I think, martial law. Oh, that's even more interesting. All right, now, enough about me speculating about politics in the news, because that's probably saying a bit too much, right? And probably, to be honest, none of that might happen. Let's look at our own lives, okay? So what might be manifesting in your life is how to use your motivation and your creative awareness to further your ambition, okay? So that's really what this is about, right? Because, one can never tell what's going to happen in the news, really. As it's all a reflective process, astrology, that's just a few possible avenues that it might take doing. Things might happen. But let's have a look more at this idea of being structured, being disciplined, applying a bit of caution to your own progress, but at the same time, going up a couple of levels, because Capricorn is about getting up to the top, right? Capricorn is the mountain goat. So when Mars is in Capricorn, then there's the effort has to be made to find your place on the path, to ascend the steps a bit more, climb up your ladder, get to further up where you want to go. There's a goal to reach, a target to achieve. This is Mars in Capricorn, okay? So this Saturday, and building up from today, okay? But so particularly taking aware of what's happening Thursday, Friday, with a goal for Saturday. How can you take steps on your path to ascend further up your ladder in order to create what you want in the world, all right? Now, it's about making your dreams more real, because it's Mars making a good aspect to Neptune. So it's about taking action to be more creative, action to be more, sensitive, mystic, artistic, poetic, the visionary. What visions have you got? What are you seeing in your mind's eye? What would you idealistically like to happen in the world? How can you bring that about? Well, this next couple of days, think about that, okay? As I said, the sextile is not a strong aspect, but it is something that if you get a good idea coming through for the future, worth noting down and worth thinking about how to develop it. At the same time, the sun is in Pisces, as I said, lit up, all mystic and strange, right? Very aware of that, going to Pluto, meaning like by being creatively attuned to the fluctuations in the world, how can I transform my own life? Is there a way of taking an advantage of this coronavirus? Is there something that you can do that furthers your own personal agenda that actually helps you to take an advantage in life? Now that sounds a bit weird, but think about it like this. There's no tourism at the moment, right? So airplane flights are really cheap. Just a thought, right? There's no, things are quietening down, right? But also, if it's just a thought, right? But just this idea that what can you do? Say I really want to go, I really wanted to go. Well, not Italy for sure, but how can you take advantage, because Capricorn is about ambition, it's about profession, it's about doing things in a very almost structured, disciplined kind of way that doesn't allow for, it's quite solitude oriented, okay? So when you've got lots of planets in Capricorn at the moment, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, all these planets in Capricorn are saying, well, I can do it on my own, right? So things are quietening down somehow, and it's about realizing that you have to focus to do things on your own a bit more. That is going to be advantageous for you in the long run. So there's some thoughts for you, and I'd be interested to know your comments on that. I hope I'm not being too controversial, but of course, a bit of controversiality is a good thing sometimes. How we're going to move forwards in life if we don't have some strange thoughts to encounter, if you like, which is Sun in Pisces, of course. And so this Saturday, enjoy this Saturday. They're quite interesting aspects. I hope that you will find a good kind of couple of events to keep you interested. There we go. So subscribe, please, to my channel if you want more of this, me talking like this sometimes. You might find it interesting. I hope you do. I'll be back soon. And thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate you watching. I really appreciate you subscribing to my channel, and maybe even sharing some of this on social media, because that's how we get around. So take care of yourselves, and I look forward to speaking to you probably on Sunday. Thank you, and bye for now.